Did my favorite portable music stand just get better? Well, we're going to find out. My name is Josh Gu, and I'm taking my years of experience learning, teaching, and performing, and sharing all of my best clarinet and music tips so you can get more out of your practice, and most importantly, have fun. You can learn more about all of my many resources at quickstartclarinet.com, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to get notified when I post new videos. A while back, I reviewed the KraftGeek Capsule Music Stand, which won Best of Show at NAMM in 2024. And I was really excited when KraftGeek reached out again saying that they had an update to it and were curious if I wanted to make a video on it. So I will say that this is not a sponsored video. I'm not being paid to make this video, but they did send me the new Capsule Lite stand for free, kind of in exchange for making the video. But there's no expectations for me to say anything positive in it or anything like that. So these are my honest reflections and honest kind of feedback on the new Capsule Lite music stand, which came in this very nice box. Just unboxing it quickly. It's very, very straightforward. It's just in the box, all in one piece. It's kind of a cool thing. They say on their website, no assembly required, and there is no assembly required, which is great. I don't know why you'd think there would be assembly required on something like this, but I'm really glad there isn't because that would get complicated. And I also love that they have a quick start guide. Of course, I would love any quick start guides. I'm a fan of, and this is really, really straightforward. It might be hard for it to show up because it's a little bit translucent, but it's great that it gives you sort of the instructions for how the stand works. There is also a more in-depth user manual in the box as well, which is great. There's also, this is completely side note tangent, the foam that comes in the box is the same as the KraftGeek foam initially, and it's a very nice high density foam that I used to make a little reed holder out of for my synthetic reeds in my clarinet case from my original stand. So I'm glad I have more of that foam now. Completely irrelevant to the product itself, but it's nice packaging and it's going to come in good shape. So the KraftGeek Lite, how it's different from the original KraftGeek, and maybe I want to start with just a little bit of a sort of recap of my thoughts on the original KraftGeek capsule stand. So for the original, and you can check out my full review of that when I did that a while back, I generally liked it, and my general feedback was it's great. It's quite portable. It's very cool the way the things kind of flip out and the way they've condensed the music stand down into a very nice form factor that's very easy to set up. High quality make, the materials are great. It's very solid when it's sitting up. It's not going to knock over. A few of the gripes that I had, the primary one was the price at about $100. Like $100 for a music stand is pretty up there to me. The table of the stand only goes back that far, so it's not great for conducting. It can't go back much further. The base of the stand, which is a little hard to get on video, the base of the stand felt quite large to me, and it sort of takes up a fairly big footprint. But it is pretty steady and it extends quite high, so you're gonna want that stability, especially as it's going higher, especially because I use an iPad on it, so it gets a little top heavy. So that was great. These do extend a little bit, which is great for giving you a little bit more room. You can also move this around so you can kind of get different orientations of this to support your music or whatever you have on the stand, or if it's shorter music, you can lower it, that kind of stuff. And taller music is great. This is probably the only portable stand that would work well for sort of 11 by 17 scores and have enough support for them. But these were not quite long enough for two pieces of music, which was a big problem that I had. So in this new version, and what I was quite excited about when I got the email from them and heard about what the new version was like, is that they seemed to address a lot of these issues that I had, which was pretty exciting. So this is the Capsule Lite. You'll notice it looks very, very similar. Let me fold up the original again, and you can see them kind of side by side in their folded up variation of them, the kind of portable travel size. So this is the original capsule. This is the Capsule Lite. You can see they're basically identical when they fold up. So this didn't get really any more portable, although it is a bit lighter. And when I first picked this up, I was like, I don't know if it really feels that much lighter, but feeling them both in my hands, this is definitely lighter. It's not the like ultimate most lightweight stand ever, but it's pretty light. And this one hasn't been a problem at all. I do want to give a little update on kind of my use of this as well. Since I made the review video, I've used this for quite a few gigs, and this is actually my go-to stand when I'm going to a gig that requires me to bring my own stand, because it is really nice and portable, and it's proven to be quite durable. The material, the build quality has held up very good. I've taken this lots of places. I did find a way to kind of open it up and hook it on the handle of my case. So when I'm wearing my backpack case, I have it kind of strapped in the handle, and it's dangling around back behind me and has knocked into lots of different things gently, and hasn't had any problems, and is holding up really great. The sort of stand quality is still staying very strong. It's not shrinking at all. Doesn't have that sinking stand effect that we know stands sometimes tend to get. So the quality of this has held up really, really fantastically. The Capsule Lite, I suspect, should hold up equally as well. But let's get into sort of the new features of the Capsule Lite stand. So the first thing that is coming to mind and I'm noticing is it is a little bit lighter, but it also feels a little bit cheaper because of that. The original capsule stand is a lot of metal in it. There's definitely some plastic. The Capsule Lite is almost all plastic and has very little metal in it, which is not necessarily a problem, and it does make it more lightweight, which is great, but the original capsule does feel a little bit more heavy duty and a little bit more serious. Another one of the huge changes is how it opens. So the original capsule, you twist this little thing at the bottom, and then you can slide this down and sort of engage it. The new one, hopefully I don't hurt myself doing this, you just push the button and it pops out automatically. And it's a tiny bit harder to close because it is spring-loaded, and you kind of have to pull that together. But honestly, the original one was also a little cumbersome to close because you had to kind of pull on that, and you wouldn't know when it would go, and you'd have to try not to smash your fingers in there, and then you have to get it lined up just right, and then twist it closed. Both are totally easy and no problem to do, but the Capsule Lite is a little bit more fun and actually a little bit more easy and functional as well, which is great. And it's not so scary when you aren't doing it in front of the camera, in front of your face. The idea behind it is you just take that and you kind of hit it on the ground and it pops out and you're good to go. So that's the biggest difference to this one. But I will notice while we're talking about kind of the feet of it, when I put it down and kind of look at the footprint that it has on the ground, I don't know if this will show up in the video at all, but this is, again, the original capsule and the Lite, and maybe you can see, you probably can't see, but it is a little bit smaller. Not a lot, it's still not as small of a footprint as a traditional music stand, but it's getting pretty darn close, and it's definitely smaller than the original capsule, which is fantastic. A few other updates that they made. It says on their website that the sort of core of it, the extension, the hydraulics in it, are exactly the same, and that seems reasonable to me and seems accurate. And this is more secure, kind of. I think it is plastic. I think the original is also plastic, so both of those are plastic. A couple of other updates. The desk itself has some subtle adjustments, but I think they were meaningful adjustments. It was kind of interesting to see. So looking at the size of them, they're basically identical, actually literally identical for the size, I think, in terms of just these components of it. But you will notice on the original, there's this rubber here. And to be fair too, this is the original that I got a while ago. These things may be updated on newer versions of this if you were to buy the original capsule stand right now. Some of these small things might be a little bit different and more similar to the Capsule Lite, but this is what I have to compare to for now. So this one has kind of a thin rubber here. On the Capsule Lite, that rubber gets a lot thicker and covers more space, which at first I was concerned that might cause problems for turning pages and having kind of more surface area for things to get caught on there. But for some reason, it's actually easier to turn pages. And it might be because the rubber's maybe a little bit thinner. I can't tell for sure, but I'm actually having less problems with pages getting caught as I'm turning them, which is fantastic. The other update of the desk that I think is the most exciting is you'll notice when we extend the kind of middle section there, it extends further. And that is really super important. Let me grab a piece of music and sort of demonstrate why that's so important. So when I take a bigger piece of music and put it into the original capsule, there's not enough room for it, and it bunches up. And this is, again, a bigger piece of music. This isn't an 8.5 by 11, but a lot of music comes in this size, and it doesn't work on that one. If we take that over to the Capsule Lite, it's no problem, and you can see we have it totally flat with some room to spare, which is a fantastic improvement. I think that was a really necessary upgrade, and they made that upgrade, which I appreciate a lot on this. And again, there is a little bit of room to spare, which is great. Another very subtle upgrade, a couple subtle upgrades with these clips, which is going to be hard to see on the camera also, but they have a little bit of a gap there, so it's easier to kind of slide music in, and they have a little bit of rubber there too, which is going to hold the music in place a little bit more through these clear clips, which are a great feature. One thing I'm not loving about the update, and it again comes from the kind of more plastic body, is these are a lot more finicky to get in and out, which you're not going to need to do very fast, but you can see with the original capsule, I can pretty much with one hand just kind of, well, maybe with one hand, I can push that in and it pushes pretty smooth. Now that I'm saying it, it's not as smooth, but if I do this one with one hand, not too bad. This one with one hand, it's similar, but doesn't feel as smooth. Another part is the top as well. On this one, pushing that down, and maybe it's because it's new and it just needs broken in a little bit, but you can hear the kind of plastic trying to glide on plastic, whereas the original is metal gliding on metal and is a lot smoother. Similar noise, I suppose, but maybe that's just a very, very picky nitpick from me, but it does feel noticeable in the feel of it, how easily and smoothly it is to move those up and down, and that might improve as it breaks in. A couple things that I didn't like from the original that are still a problem on the Capsule Lite. There's still nowhere to put your phone. That's why they sell an additional accessory where you can screw that in and hold your phone down here. I have kind of figured out a way when I'm using my iPad where I put my iPad on the stand and then can kind of balance my phone on top, which is great. A couple other gripes is that I don't know why this needs to be so long. Although again, if you have sort of an 11 by 17, at least it has a chance to fit on this, whereas on other stands it wouldn't. So I suppose that's nice. The other thing is it does get a good bit more of angle, still not quite enough to really conduct with, but you can see if I get these straight and lined up, there's a little bit more angle, maybe like 5 degrees more of tilt back, but it is noticeable when I'm kind of setting it down and have both of them in front of me. It is probably 5 degrees more of a tilt, which is great. Looking at the heights and comparing them, according to the website, they both go up to the same height. Let's test if that's true. Yep, both go up to the same height, which is way higher than you would ever need. And they both have very good sort of support for not falling down. When I did the original capsule stand, I set a bunch of stuff like iPad, heavy reed case, some other stuff on it overnight, and it didn't move an inch. they have the same tension. I'll do a very unscientific test and try to push kind of the same amount of push on both of them. And actually the Capsule Lite feels a little bit better than the original capsule in terms of a little bit more resistance, which is great. Of course, it is brand new, and the original I've been using for a while, so that could certainly be a contributing factor to that. But it feels very secure. They say it's the same mechanism, feels like the same mechanism. That mechanism is held up quite well, so you're not going to have any problems with syncing stands on these. Now that brings us to the very important point, which is the pricing. And that was by far my biggest issue with the original capsule stand. Is at $100 for a stand, like the build quality is great. I've been enjoying using it for quite a while now and done lots of gigs with it. And $100 though for it it's a stretch. If $100 feels like no problem to you and you're willing to just drop $100 on a kind of nifty accessory, then you would probably like it quite a bit. But $100 is not something that most people, I think, are just thinking, yeah, no problem, I could spend $100 on that easily. However, the Capsule Lite, I think, has all of the benefits of the original capsule. It's easier to maneuver because it's a little bit lighter. It's easier to open because it has that fun little pop open. I'm subtly skeptical about the quality of it, both because of this kind of spring mechanism. That adds another mechanism that has the potential to break down over time. So who knows how well this one will hold up in terms of that. But if that holds up well, then I think you're in good shape. And actually thinking about how the mechanism is actually working too, even if the springs were to kind of die over time, I think you could still use the stand pretty reasonably, even if those springs start to get weak. So I think there's good potential there for the longevity of it. And the price is a good $20 or $30 cheaper. So right now the capsule stand, as I'm filming this, is on sale for 10% off and is $90. But the Capsule Lite is only $70, and it's $70 not on sale, so if it ever went on sale, it would get cheaper. $70 is still quite a bit to spend on a music stand, but I think it's a very high quality music stand. If it holds up anywhere close to the original capsule stand, which I suspect it would, I think that has great potential, and $70 feels a little bit more reasonable. If you get all of the add-ons, the carrying bag, the phone stand, the stand light, all of the bells and whistles that can go with it, then it's like $130, but the original capsule is like $150 and is also on sale right now. So $130 with all the accessories feels like too much, but $70, I think we're getting very, very close to a reasonable price. For me personally, and again, everybody's different, I feel like this stand, the Capsule Lite, at $50 would be a really good deal. If you ever see it on sale or like a Black Friday sale or something like that for $50 for the stand, that would be a fantastic deal. And I'll wrap up with one last little gripe that I have. There's still not a good way to carry this. So I'm still going to be kind of opening it up, putting it through my clarinet handle and closing it like that to carry it. I feel like it would be easy to put just like kind of some holes in the base here for a lanyard strap or something like that, where you could just stick a string through there and have a strap to sort of carry it. Sometimes when I'm carrying it by hand, I feel like people might be a little afraid that I have like something that looks a little threatening just kind of walking into my gig, where if it had a strap and I could hold it like this, it would look a little less threatening also, I feel like. And I would be able to hook it onto like a carabiner or a hook on my bag or something like that. That would be a whole lot easier than having to kind of open it up and wrangle it in and all of that kind of good stuff. So those are my thoughts on the KraftGeek Capsule Lite stand. I'm really looking forward to using it some more. I'll still probably use my original capsule stand quite a bit as well. The original capsule has held up extremely well, which is fantastic. And before we wrap up, if you're interested in getting either of these stands, or I think it would apply to any KraftGeek product as well, in the description and in the pinned comment there will be a discount code where you can use my discount code, and I make a little bit of commission off of that, of course, as an affiliate, and you can use my affiliate code to save yourselves a little money on these as well. And again, with that discount and the cheaper price of the Capsule Lite, I think we're starting to get into something that could really be adopted by quite a few people, because this one's very functional, especially if you aren't somebody who's always putting your phone on your stand to use as a metronome or things like that, or you can find ways to balance it just right, or you want to spend the extra money and get the phone stand that they sell as well. It could be an option. So those are my thoughts on the KraftGeek Capsule Lite, an update on the original capsule, which I've been enjoying a lot. Thanks so much to KraftGeek for sending this over to let me look at it. I hope that you enjoy it. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in another one. And last but not least, a huge heartfelt thank you to the Dennersons. This is like the Quick Start Clarinet family who supports the channel and helps to make everything that I do possible. If you would like to support the channel and get some awesome rewards in return where we can work one-on-one over video and you can have my full support moving forward on your clarinet journey, then go to quickstartclarinet.com/supporter.